you see a little man with a little goatee standing at a journalistic unemployment line sometime soon? It just might be NBC's White House reporter Chuck Todd, who just said something out loud that you've probably believed for a very long time. I'm PJTV's Scott Ott, joined now by my colleagues Bill Whittle and Stephen Green. Well, men, here's how Chuck Todd introduced a story.
Good morning, Lester. You know, when it comes to Barack Obama's views on money and politics, his actions have rarely matched his words. And with word that he wants to keep his political machine alive, how he plans on going about raising money for that group is coming under new scrutiny.
Now, Stephen Green, you've spent more time than anyone analyzing the mainstream media. Did you hear anything unusual there? And what do you make of it?
Well, I mean, obviously, yeah, that's the whole setup. He's calling Obama a hypocrite. He's saying Obama doesn't keep his promises. He's calling him a liar, basically. But part of your setup is wrong. That's not actually Chuck Todd. This is an evil clone of Chuck Todd, engineered by biologists who had recently isolated the integrity gene, the gene responsible for human integrity. And naturally, they wanted to see if it could be grafted into the DNA of a mainstream media Washington reporter. Now, there were a lot of doubters who said it could never be done, especially to an employee of NBC. But these genetic engineers, they really buckled down. They did their homework, and they were able to grow a Chuck Todd in a petri dish that actually has integrity. It's a modern marvel of science.
Finally, we're restoring science to its proper place. Well, Bill Whittle, a report at BuzzFeed this week said many in the White House press corps are tired of being in the president's steno pool. Did Chuck Todd let this little snippet of mutiny slip out, or was it a shot across the bow of the HMS Obama?
Thought crime, double plus ungood thought crime in progress in front of the White House. I didn't hear what he was saying, but I know it was not beneficial to dear leader. Undoubtedly, the Koch brothers are behind all of this. We must begin our 2-minute hate of the Koch brothers. Comrade, what's his name, Todd, whatever, must be sent to the reprocessing center for further re-education following in the woods of, was it Bernstein or Woodward? I can never remember. They're always so busy doing the victory lap over what they did 40 years ago that I lose track. But which one was it who a couple of months or weeks ago said something that was critical of the president and has now been ostracized and sent to the farm, as we like to say, to the farm, off to the farm immediately. He's going to the farm. Now, there's 2 reporters now who apparently have uttered something somewhat critical of the president, not really critical, just, you know, rhetorically neutral, and we won't be seeing those boys again, not in Obama's America. It's, you know, I got this smile on my face, Scott, because if I don't stop smiling, I'm going to start to cry. And I probably won't stop. I won't be able to stop.
Well, if you don't believe Bill's charge that there is an attack on the Koch brothers, consider the fact that there's now a product called Coke Zero. What do you think that means? Anyway, here's the latest example of the president's words versus action mismatch.
Now, Mr. Obama is keeping his campaign machine alive with a nonprofit group, Organizing for Action, headed by former campaign manager Jim Messina. While OFA is trumpeted as a grassroots effort, the money behind it could be anything but, as organizers will accept unlimited donations from individuals while promising full disclosure of its donors. Adding fuel to the fire, reports that OFA organizers are considering promising donors who give $500,000 quarterly meetings with President Obama, a practice candidate Obama once criticized.
Now, Steve, it's not exactly quid pro quo, so what's the risk in letting the president hang out with some people who love this country from the bottoms of their pockets?
Oh, Scotty, you're on a roll today. That was beautiful. I'll tell you what the harm is, and it's also the beauty of it, all the same thing. We are seeing this guy now 2 elections late, but we're seeing this guy now for what he really is. We will get the honest verdict of history on this president, and that verdict is not going to be a kind one.
Well, Bill, I'm pretty sure that this entire episode of Trifecta is just another attempt by the hard right to smear the most historically historic president in the history of historicity. It will get conservatives in a lather, but make Obama supporters even more devoted and committed to their virtuous leader. Why do we even bother highlighting stuff like this?
Well, I'm in such a state of shock, I immediately had to Google what I just saw. Apparently, you're sitting down, right? What we just saw in that last clip is called a news report. And apparently, I'm quoting from Wikipedia here, so you know we're dealing with the truth. Apparently, I'm just saying, this is just what it says here. There was a time in this country when journalists would do these things called news reports. And apparently, apparently, they would go and uncover factual evidence of things and then report them to the American people without, here's the thing, Scotty, apparently without running the story past the White House first so that you could get an idea of what these news reports had dug up. Now, yeah, that's Wikipedia, so it's probably crap. I've never heard of such a thing. At least I haven't any memory of hearing of such a thing. But I have to say that it created a tingly feeling that ran right up my leg. Hearing a journalist do a factual news report on the God King gave me a thrill, ran right up my leg.
Yeah, one wonders, I'm not old enough to have known this, obviously, but one wonders if they didn't run it past the White House press secretary first, how did they even know it was news? You know, it must be tough to be a White House reporter. A man like Chuck Todd, no doubt, once had dreams of accomplishment, viewed himself as a man of integrity, and wanted to make his mark in the world. Now he's merely marking the path for another man to live out dreams from his father. The White House reporter spends his days mouthing spoon-fed stories dependent upon big government, settling for a measure of celebrity in exchange for his integrity. Well, it's good to see one of them rise up on hind legs and speak truth to power. As Joe Biden might say, way to stand up, Chuck. With Bill Whittle, Stephen Green, and the entire Trifecta crew at pjtv.com, I'm Scott Ott.